Hello, and welcome to the MadCap, a recap of the week's oddities of Ryerson, Toronto, and the universe. Can we start over? Hello, and welcome to the MadCap, a recap of the week's oddities of Ryerson, Toronto, and the universe. I'm Jasmine Pazzano.
And I'm Greg DeClara. On today's special Halloween edition, it's Brittney Witch. The Queen of Pop covers the King of Pop's Halloween hit. See how one Paralympian transforms his body into hilarious Halloween costumes year after year.
And Ryersonian reporter Haley Brower stops by to give us a preview of the year's most bodacious costume in the city. But first, a surprising poll conducted by Realtor.com. The question was, would you live in a haunted house? More than half of the people in the poll said yes. Greg, I understand you've seen a ghost before.
Well, Jazz, but I'm not really sure what exactly I saw. I was about 11 or 12. I was in my basement having a nice bowl of Cheerios at night, and there's a long hallway in my basement, and for some reason, some sort of force or for some reason, I looked down the hallway and saw what I thought was a woman in a wedding dress.
Wow.
Now, personally, I don't know if I believe in ghosts, but or if my eyes were playing tricks on me, but it was definitely something that, stuck with me till now.
That is pretty scarring. I actually went to see a psychic about a year ago, and she told me that I have a ghost following me 100% of the time. Thankfully, it is my grandmother, so it's more of an angel on my shoulder than a devil. But personally, you're never alone if you're living with ghosts. So, how can you know if you're living in a haunted house? The Huffington Post wrote about the poll on their site, and they also listed some signs that you're walking with a ghost. Some of the signs include bizarre shadows, strange behavior from pets, and unexplained writings.
Our next story comes from the BBC Radio 1 YouTube channel. Brittney Spears joins host Nick Grimshaw in a monologue skit of Michael Jackson's Thriller. Take a listen.
It's Brittney Witch.
Darkness falls across the land.
The midnight hour is close at hand.
Creatures crawl and search for blood to terrorize your neighborhood.
Now, Brittney isn't returning to the X Factor, but we got to see a little bit of her goofy side on the show. Jasmine, what do you think of this latest gig?
I am absolutely in love with her new single, Word Bitch. It's on iTunes. And this is an amazing marketing stunt because it syncs perfectly with the new song because they managed to incorporate the hashtag It's Brittney Witch, which is brilliant. And also, she's a person known for being pretty sexy, and there is absolutely nothing sexy about this. And I love it. It's a risk for her.
Definitely, yeah. I think it's great when celebrities kind of show their lighter side and humanize themselves. And I mean, she's a cultural icon whether you like her or not, and I think this is just going to get more people to like her. And don't forget, guys, that we want to know what you think about this story, so make sure to tweet us at the MadCapTO and make sure to tell us what you think.
Don't forget to include the hashtag It's Brittney Witch. So, Greg, you thought a child dressed in regular clothing was scary?
Frightening, Jasmine.
This dad from California made his kid even scarier this Halloween. He took a few LED lights and stuck them to his daughter so that in the dark she looks like a glowing stick person. Her costume is so bright and scary, and I absolutely love it. When parents take the time to do creative projects for their kids, these kinds of things can make amazing memories, and this will also make a pretty stellar home video. But this has definitely gone beyond a family video because it has gone completely viral on YouTube, hitting about 16 million views.
Yeah, Jasmine, I have to admit, when I first saw this video when you showed me in class, I was scared.
I know.
This kid, I would not want to run into this kid in an alleyway, running at me, especially with his voice laughing. It was really scary. But again, it's great. I think people find creative new ways every Halloween. And I mean, that's the one big hit of Halloween. See what people are going to dress up as. And it's always just amazing. On this topic, I have another great costume story of a different kind. Josh Sundquist was diagnosed with a rare form of bone cancer when he was 9 and had to get his left leg amputated. Now, instead of letting his disability get to him, Josh has been a real winner. He's a former Paralympian in skiing. He's got a YouTube channel with over 160,000 subscribers. And he's the founder of LessThan4.org, a social networking website for amputees. But Josh is probably best known for his hilarious Halloween costumes. 2 years ago, he dressed as a one-legged gingerbread man. Last year, he turned his leg into the sexy lamp from the movie A Christmas Story. You'd think these would be hard to beat, but he managed to top them. This year, Josh went as, drumroll please, a flamingo. He dressed himself in a pink suit and angled his body upside down to pull this off. Here's what he has to say about making the best of his situation.
Like for me as a 9-year-old, I never dreamed that my amputation was going to lead to Halloween costumes that would amuse millions of people around the world. But if I'm stuck having one leg anyway, which I am, then it's pretty cool that that negative circumstance has allowed me the opportunity to make people laugh with funny pictures on the internet.
Jasmine, this is such a great story.
It's so hard to think about losing your part of yourself at the age of 9, which is when he lost his leg. And at 9, you're old enough to remember what life was like before your amputation, but he managed to make light of it almost by creating costumes that no one else can pull off unless, of course, you're in the same situation. But very few people of that group would have the confidence and creativity to do this.
Joining us now to talk about the latest Halloween costume trends, appropriate and not so appropriate, is Ryersonian reporter Haley Brower. Thanks for coming in, Haley.
Thank you for having me on the show, Greg.
I understand that you visited Malabar this week, for which, if you guys don't know, is a well-known costume store in downtown Toronto. So what can we see people gallivanting in tonight?
Well, I found this kind of strange costume when I was doing my shoot, and I didn't actually notice it until I actually looked up in the store. So just looking around, seeing all these nice traditional costumes on the ground, but I look up on the ceiling, and there I see these large breasts. And then beside the breasts, I see these large plastic, sweaty-looking buttocks.
Oh my God.
And I thought
wow.
to myself, who on earth would use that in a costume? I mean, those were just so extreme. I thought, well, unless you're trying to make, a nun that has maybe a butt on the back of it or something.
Or maybe
like
one
that.
of those like surgeon patients or hospital patients, when they have
Yes, exactly. But that was just something that it was almost escaped my eyesight until I had to do a double take. And I'm looking at it thinking, who on earth, especially if you bring your kid into the store, would just put that in such plain sight? Maybe if you could have a sign that said, we have this in the back, we're more than welcome to bring this out for you. But no, just plain sight. Anybody could see it if they just tilted their head upwards a little bit.
Awesome. Well, I can't imagine that being a really popular costume this year. So what are some of the things that are really kind of grabbing people's attention?
Well, I spoke with Alana Samby, and she is one of the Malabar costume associates there, and she noted that a lot of the things that are in style for Halloween this year aren't actually that original. So she noted that superheroes are a good favorite. So you're looking at Thor, you're looking at Wolverine, Superman, The Dark Knight, Catwoman. And she also said film-inspired costumes such as The Great Gatsby. Everyone wants to be dressed up as either one of those stylish gangsters or a flapper girl in a fabulous flapper outfit. So those were the particular costumes that she said were really in style this year. And of course, she also mentioned the MTV VMA Awards show costume of Miley Cyrus and Robin Thicke. Alana Samby noted that all of the Beetlejuice costumes, which happened to look exactly like Robin Thicke's outfit, were sold out before Halloween was even a thought process. So I thought that was really interesting that it was just shortly after the VMAs had even happened that these costumes just cleared from the shelves. So I think that's going to be something that we're going to see a lot of this year on Halloween, some skimpy Mileys and some really perverted Robin Thicks.
Now, I can't imagine those costumes are cheap at all.
No, most definitely not. The average costume in Malabar ranges between $80 to $100.
Wow.
And I know that's a lot even for students. It's a big investment. It's something that usually you only wear once a year. And I know even myself, I don't particularly like to recycle costumes from year to year. Once I'm seen in a picture in that costume, I don't really want to wear it again. So I find that to be staggering numbers, especially because I noticed when I I was doing my own costume shopping, I saw, for example, a gypsy costume in Malabar that costed, I believe it was $90. And I saw this exact same costume in Spirit Halloween for $49.99. So the markup, and I'm not sure, maybe it's just because it's an independent store, but the markup was absolutely astonishing, especially because it's the same costume made from the same manufacturer, and it's you're having a wealth of different types of people coming in, and students just, I don't know what they pull their money out of their back pocket to spend on this one night, but it's absolutely incredible, the fact that people are willing to shed out so much for this one holiday.
So I know that you did kind of help students out as well. We did a whole piece on DIY costumes. So why don't you talk a little bit about that? What should people go as if they're kind of searching for last-minute ideas?
Well, some of the last-minute ideas that we mentioned on the Ryersonian website were, one of my personal favorites was the Bounty paper towel guy, and I thought that was really easy for guys, especially a lot of guys have plaid shirts that they can just throw on. Red is also a pretty popular plaid shirt color. They can throw that on, grab a roll of paper towel and a pair of pants. It could even be jeans, it could be khakis, whatever they like, and walk around and look like the Bounty paper towel guy. Another one that was one of my personal favorites, which is great for all you girls who work out, is a yogi. So you can throw on your pair of TNA pants, your Lululemons, a pair of leggings, and a workout shirt, and throw your hair up in a ponytail and act zen for the entire night. And you can take on that persona of being a yoga instructor, because I find that a lot of what has to do with costumes, it's not just what you wear, it's how you embody that particular costume as well. So if you're just going out and you're not putting in that 110% of character, you're not going to get the same response from people with your costume. Another one that I actually tried on was a trendy, chic, fashionable pumpkin. So that included just a plain green top and a pair of rusty orange leggings.
Nice.
So you can do this in a bunch of other ways. You could maybe even, if you have a pair of parachute pants, orange, you can do that as well. You could even paint your face so to make yourself look like a pumpkin. It's just so easy to make these costumes on your own. You just kind of have to find something that you see that you really like and get creative with it. You know, take a picture of something. There's always an easier way of doing something. Open up your closet, check out what's inside. Maybe you can make something out of a shirt or a pair of pants, or maybe even from your parents' closet if you're still living at home. They probably have a ton of stuff from the 1960s, 70s, 80s, whatever, that you could use to be something vintage, or, you know, a disco dancer, something like that. So you just really have to open up your eyes and see what you can find and make the best out of it for Halloween if you don't feel like spending that $100 on a Halloween costume.
Right, that's great, Haley. Well, thanks so much for giving your advice.
Thank you.
All right, and you can see all of Haley's Halloween coverage at theryersonian.ca, and it was also featured in this week's Ryersonian newspaper on newsstands now.
Ryerson students, if you did not break the bank for your costume this year, and you spent weeks on end planning your DIY costume, here's your chance to win big for it. RSU Student Life is hosting their annual Halloween costume contest, and entering is easy. Submit a video or picture via Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube with the hashtag RUScared2013. You can also email a photo to rrustudentlife@gmail.com. The categories include Most Original and Best Couple. There's also a prize for the worst costume submitted. Prizes include an iPod Nano and tickets to Wonderland's Halloween Haunt. Don't procrastinate on this one, guys, because the contest ends today.
Just a reminder that you can check the links below our podcast for more info about the contest and the stories we mentioned today. That's it for our Halloween episode. Have a fantastic day, and don't step into that white van. I'm Greg DeClara.
And I'm Jasmine Pazzano.